These are faces of some of the individuals who uncovered something bad that bothered them. They worked with sensitive, high-profile information, ranging from government misuse of taxpayers' money to deep-rooted corruption. Their discoveries led them to poke where they were not meant to poke. They had a decision to make, knowing that there are a set of risks involved. But driven by a sense of duty and patriotism, they chose to act. Now, if you decide to expose what you have learned, that is called whistleblowing. And in South Africa, it is often regarded as choosing an early death. Yes, there are laws designed to protect whistleblowers. But in a country where human life is undervalued, speaking out can mean putting yourself on a hit list. Attorneys and advocates frequently face intimidation and threats, especially when handling multi-million rand asset preservation cases. A common thread is their involvement in disputes with members of the so-called construction mafia. Assassinations are used as a tactic to silence them and halt investigations. And in South Africa, this is a growing and deeply troubling trend. Take father and son Murray, for example. Cloete and Thomas Murray were murdered in broad daylight on Saturday, the 18th of March, 2023, while driving on the N1 highway between Johannesburg and Pretoria. The two were working on a 450 million rand liquidation case involving fraud and corruption, linked to sibling accountants Rashil and Nishani Singh. Their portfolio also included several high-profile and politically sensitive cases, such as those related to Bosasa and Trillion, key elements of South Africa's state capture saga. Cloete Murray had long served as a court-appointed curator of assets for companies owned by controversial Durban businesswoman in her protracted battles with the SARS. SARS advocate Coreth Node narrowly survived a failed assassination attempt. Two gunmen, armed with 9mm handguns, approached her vehicle while she was stopped at the boom gate of an underground parking garage near Gateway Shopping Centre in Umhlanga. As they opened fire, she tried to escape into the garage, and the attackers followed her vehicle. Node had spent the day at a tax inquiry involving Mkhize's companies and had left the venue only minutes before the shooting. Zenzele Sitole was a seasoned corruption investigator with the city of Johannesburg. He was assassinated while probing various incidents of municipal corruption involving city employees. At the time of his death, he had begun working on a new case that, according to those close to him, had deeply troubled him. On Thursday, 11th July, while sitting in traffic at an intersection in Boysens, Johannesburg, a gunman approached his vehicle on foot and shot him dead. Babita Deokaran was murdered on 23 August 2021, gunned down in her car outside her home in Mondeor, Johannesburg, after dropping her teenage daughter at school. As the chief director of financial accounting, she was a bulwark against irregular and suspicious payments within the Gauteng Health Department. Her access to critical documentation made her an invaluable asset to the Special Investigating Unit. Deokaran had blown the whistle on a tender syndicate looting public funds from Tembisa Hospital. In the days leading up to her murder, she flagged suppliers who had already siphoned over 800 million rand through corrupt procurement deals. Charl Kinnear was a senior police officer investigating some of the country's most dangerous individuals, members of the Cape Town underworld and affiliated gangs. He had become a key figure in disrupting the illegal firearms trade, a move that dealt a heavy blow to both gang operations and corrupt officials involved. That made him a marked man. Kinnear was assassinated outside his home on 18 September 2020. A News 24 investigation later revealed that his cell phone had been continuously tracked in the weeks leading up to his killing. These incidents represent a direct attack on the state and the rule of law, part of a growing pattern of targeted killings designed to undermine legal and criminal justice processes. Many of these cases involve investigations into corruption and fraud worth hundreds of millions of rands. What connects these victims is their commitment to holding wrongdoers accountable, each of them operating from different roles within the state apparatus. In response, the Minister of Police vowed swift action in addressing the murders of whistleblowers and other justice officials. He emphasized that these killings are far too serious for mere expressions of concern and confirmed that a joint investigation by the SAPS and the Hawks is underway to uncover those responsible. The Defend Our Democracy movement was among the strongest voices condemning the attacks. A spokesperson stated that these acts are not only violent crimes, but also a direct assault on the rule of law and the pursuit of justice. The movement underscored the urgent need to protect those who are taking on powerful criminal networks. They stressed that individuals working to bring justice must be able to do so without fear. confident that their efforts won't cost them their lives. The South African government, on the other hand, said that it will introduce the Whistleblower Protection Bill in Parliament this year. The move is intended to reinforce the country's commitment to protecting those who expose corruption. According to the government, whistleblowers are essential to the fight against corruption and must be supported and safeguarded accordingly. In a country where public trust in both government and the private sector is critically low, creating a society that respects and protects whistleblowers is a monumental challenge. Achieving this will require not only legal reforms, but also a fundamental rebuilding of trust in public institutions. South Africa does, in fact, have a progressive legal framework for combating corruption. This includes key legislation, such as the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, the Prevention of Organised Crime Act, and the long-standing Criminal Procedure Act of 1977, which remains an effective tool for criminal prosecutions. However, even the most robust legal framework is meaningless without the political will to enforce it, and without meaningful protection for those brave, civic-minded individuals who risk everything to expose wrongdoing. Accountability is more than just a principle. It is a core democratic value enshrined in the Constitution. Alongside the supremacy of the Constitution and the rule of law, accountability forms the foundation of our democracy. Yet, the persistent lack of accountability across national, provincial, and local government structures, as well as within oversight bodies and state-owned enterprises, lies at the heart of South Africa's ongoing issues with financial mismanagement and systemic corruption. While the Protected Disclosures Amendment Act has broadened protections for whistleblowers, allowing disclosures to be made to institutions such as the Public Protector, the South African Human Rights Commission, the Public Service Commission, and the Auditor General, these legal safeguards have not translated into lived security. Because the harsh reality is that whistleblowers often face isolation, professional blacklisting, and a future marked by fear and uncertainty. Look, whistleblowing mechanisms do exist in South Africa, but the real challenge lies in ensuring effective protection for those who speak out. The Witness Protection Program offers some level of safety, but only in the context of criminal cases, and that protection ends once the trial concludes, regardless of the outcome. This is why the decision to blow the whistle is never easy, anywhere in the world. No country has perfected the systems needed to fully protect whistleblowers. For those considering coming forward, it is often an agonizing dilemma, choosing between doing what is right and facing the near certainty that their lives, and the lives of their families, will be permanently altered. Ultimately, there is no universal model or silver bullet for protecting whistleblowers. Legal reform is the most obvious and necessary state intervention, but even with genuine political will, it is a slow and complex process. For many, it still feels like a battle with no clear path to victory.